Let me start this video by taking a good old hard suck on a drink. Cheers. Okay. This is going to be an update video, I guess. I didn't have really any plans to do a video. I didn't really have a plan to touch on this topic for a little while until it felt right. But universe will send you signs, and I'm listening to the signs. And this is an update. This video specifically will be about what's happening with energy companies, what's going on with bills, what's happening in the life of me, what's going on with this guy, what is he doing. So let me get into it. I am not focused on it at all. And the reason I'm not focused on it at all is because my most powerful asset as a human being is my attention. And I decline the reason to give my attention to places it's not really going to matter. Now, I say that with a caveat. If you're stumbling across this kind of freedom journey and you're new and you haven't got much experience in this space, then like anything else in life, what you have to do first is get the experience to understand what it is and to understand what it isn't. I would love in this video for me to express how focused I am right now, how dialed in I am, what's going on with the teams around me, the money that I'm making, the focus towards specific set targets, and everything else that kind of goes in that frequency, but I'm not going to do that. If you're interested in that, follow me. Now, if you're someone that's watching this video and you comment underneath this video asking me for what's in the description, you have to flip the script in your life. You are someone that's caught up here. Even though you're seeking change, you're seeking betterment, you've got to know and you've got to understand how to use certain aspects of the digital world. Let me pause for a drink. Find me another individual in this space as open and receptive as I am. Anyone that messages me, I will respond. Anyone that reaches out to me personally and privately, I will reply. No one else is doing that. So this is why we need to go from here to up here. The key of how the fuck we move forward and get out of this mess is engagement and community and network with each other. And let me tell you something. All the freedom movers, you are slacking tremendously. Go and look at right now what I'm doing in the arm wrestling space. As irrelevant as that might seem, go and have a look and take the context of community. I have never been around something where so many people are willing to show up, are willing to help each other, are willing to grow and change, and ultimately are all building towards the same vision. I've never experienced anything like it, like I have done recently in the last 10 months, 11 months with Circle of Arms and arm wrestling in the UK. And I bring that up in this video for a very specific reason. Those skill sets and that type of activity is exactly what's going to enable us to change. There's so many people that want to change the earth, let people know what's going on. To take it to the corruption and let them know that we're not taking shit. Let me turn this off. Let them know that we're not taking any shit. That's great. It's energy, it's power. But it's being funneled into bullshit. In itself, it's a fucking distraction. And what we need to do right now is forget what's going on outside us and assess our own position, assess our own situation around us. Who do we have around us that's real and true and actually shows up and engages? How are we actually feeling in our sense of empowerment and health? Also, what are we doing this for? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? For a better life? That's why I'm here. I'm here to not take shit from what's going on from people. I don't give a fuck about Eon. I don't give a fuck about banks. I don't give a fuck about car parking agencies or councils. I don't give a fuck about anyone that's trying to take from me without my consent. I mean, there's so much I could talk about here and talk about it in detail. But for those that are interested in that and want to learn a bit of the basics, you can reach out to me and you can work with me in a paid capacity. My time is valuable and so should yours be. And if you're willing to come to me and focus and pay attention, I will give you the feedback that you need. Because it's not in a book. It's not in a conditional acceptance form. It's not in fucking videos of people having their meters taken out. It's in the relationship you have with yourself and your heart. And when you figure that out, life will actually change. That is the work. It's not to do with the focus of Magna Carta. It's not to do with rules or this legislation or that. If you're in that situation right now, and I say this with utmost respect, and it comes from love, because we are in this together. But if you're focused on it, you are fucking distracted right now. How is it working out for you? Because the most people that I speak to that are in that situation, it isn't working out for them. We, and I say we, excluding maybe a few people that might be watching this, we are fucking broke. We are poor. And anything I would say under like 200 grand is poor. We need to understand how to play the game and earn money so we don't have to deal with the garbage that's going on, in a sense that we actually have practical resource around us to deal with the garbage that's going on around us. The only thing we can truly do whilst we have no money and whilst we have no finances and whilst we are truly battling what's going on with the corporations, the only thing we can truly do is what everyone's already doing to an extent. You can decline and deny any attempt to take away freedom, to take away money, and to bully and coerce you into a low vibration to ultimately keep this realm here on Earth into this kind of chaotic, tyrannical system that it is. We need to transcend above that. And how we get there is by beginning to look at what actually matters. If you're going through a process, cool. Go through the letters, go through the links in the bio, go through the Telegram channels, start to learn, start to educate. Education is never going to be a bad thing, but action is key. And you've got to understand, if you've seen my videos, you've got to understand that it doesn't really matter what you do. The only thing that truly matters when it comes down to it is how you handle moments. How am I handling this moment right now in this video, improvising and jumping on in the middle of my day whilst I am on a fucking runway right now to speak and engage with you guys. And I appreciate you guys. There's a lot of you out there that are incredibly supportive, and you can just look at the comment section in most of the videos, and I appreciate tremendously what most people are saying. Put that to one side. I also don't care too much, because otherwise I would give equal amounts of value and attention to the people that don't like it, to the people that are challenged. We have to inject a little bit of humor here. Look at me. Look at me. Look at how I live. Honestly. Don't take this shit too seriously. Where we should be focused every single day is in bettering ourselves, is improving our health, is becoming more and more educated, and really assessing what's taking my energy, who's taking my energy, and why aren't I getting to where I want to be. That's the step up here. What I will touch on now is some updates, but you've got to be aware right now. We are online, and even if we're not being observed, which we are, every single thing that we put online is a reference in history. It can't be changed. This is history. So, everything that you see on my channel, people showing up at my door, and how I've dealt with it, is exactly what has happened and nothing else. No more has happened behind the scenes. No more has gone on. Every single time that someone comes here and actually gets into an interaction, I'll capture it on film. So anyone that wants to come towards me, that's what I will do. That's food for me. That's free food. Thank you, content. Thank you, content. Thank you, viral video. We have to take the attack like a counter, slip it, and counter. That's what I'm here to do. I do that particularly well because my skill set is improvisation. I can think on my feet. And what I carry in me isn't memorizing the Magna Carta, isn't memorizing common law. This is the game here. The upgrade. If I came up to you in any capacity and I just said, give me £100, you owe it to me, you'd tell me to fuck off. I like to think so. If I pushed you and poked you and started sending you letters, inside you, you'd have an intuitive reaction. I'd like to think so. And that's to fight back or not take it as, not get bullied, basically. And however this translates, it's not my job to necessarily describe it. I can only express it. But vibration is everything. And that's a vibration that doesn't feel right. When someone's poking, pushing, probing, that doesn't feel right. And when we're in a situation where there's fear, there's uncertainty about something, that doesn't feel right. We have to be able to deal with most situations, understand the basics of why it doesn't feel right. If you understand psychology, you understand that we're being psychologically abused. We're being gaslit. Like, look what happens if you chase up these companies and you say, look, I'm being harassed here. And majority of people I'm speaking to have disabilities in the family. They're living with disabled people. They have kids, or they live on their own. They're vulnerable. Most people are in this situation. And staff members that show up don't give a fuck. Because they're not supposed to. They are passive and they are there to do a job. And they do a job. What we need to understand is there's an element of mercilessness that no amount of screaming or shouting or doing this is actually going to make a difference. What we have to reinforce in ourselves is the knowing of who we are and how things work. So if someone shows up at my door and they knock, first of all, they shouldn't be knocking on my door. I live in a building where the front door should be locked. Although I live in a building where the housing association moat are fucking terrible. So that door's always busted and people just get in and they knock on the door. Look at the most recent video, the man in the council tax video. I can't fucking stand that. But okay, someone's knocked. What comes with the knock is the real problem. Is the attitude of, I'm here like a school teacher and I'm going to tell you what to do. I say school teacher very specifically because this is a thing that's been conditioned in us since childhood. When you're feeling emotional or you're feeling something as a child, most people have been told to shut up. Most people have been punished. Most people have been put in a situation where authority has told them that they can't do something. And we grow up, physically at least. Most of us don't develop mentally or spiritually. But when we physically grow up, we still carry those childlike instincts of, oh, do I need to do what this person says? Even myself, I will feel the adrenaline rush through me. It's not like we're supposed to be super calm and casual. That's great if you can do it. We need to get real and understand, yeah, this will adrenalize us. This will feel like we're ready to fight or flight. But the key factor is how to not get pulled into that with our actions. And look, I'm saying this now. Who knows if there's a video in the future where someone ends up getting slapped. I'm open to whatever happens. But it hasn't happened yet. And normally it's like showing me it's getting easier and easier actually, because these individuals have fear. And I'm not your average individual. I'm very wise. And what I do is not go, and I do this in life in general. This is the key. Where are you practicing? You don't get the opportunity of that happening all the time. So you need to be able to practice in life. If your friends, if your family, if your work colleagues, if anyone in your life is kind of some way dominating you in a way that you don't feel comfortable with, or you're doing things that you don't really want to do, that's where you need to start to practice what these skills are. This doesn't feel true and right to me. In simple forms, I'm not doing it anymore. No, thank you. Even if we're a little bit unsure, even if we're scared, even if we're adrenalized, that has to be the only thing we do moving forward, because we will actually move forward. So, this is deep. And there's a lot of self-work that's required that most people can't do for simple reasons. Not because they don't want to. Not because they don't think it's even important. No one's got the fucking time and energy to focus on it. I mean, we have time and we have energy. Where is that going? Split into like just one day, 24 hours. Where is it going? Family, work, foods, maybe porn, football. Even if it's in this realm, it's going into, I'm going to study about the Magna Carta. I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn about that. I'm going to get my live life claim. Like, I'm not saying any of it is a negative thing. I'm saying you've got to assess the value of your time and energy and actually understand whether it's going to make a difference to you, whether it's going to make something worthwhile. Because I'm still open to it all. I'm still open to doing it. But I can't be focused on that shit. I've got to focus on actually shifting my life forever financially and getting away from this poverty through money and having a network so strong around me that I can't be touched. That's really hard. That's a lot of focus and hard work. And I'm working on that every single day. That's where the time and energy goes for me. So if someone comes in, I just deal with it accordingly. And it kind of passes. It's not long after the event actually happens. And I get back onto my focus. Everyone as an individual has got to understand what their focus can be and what their focus can't be. And once you find your role, and you've got some people around you that are also on that same page, you'll actually start to have momentum move forward. So, when someone comes at the door, when you're reading these letters, when you're understanding that you're seeing these videos that look terrible, these like spineless, soulless people that are pushing through vulnerable women, they're breaking into people's houses illegally and unlawfully. We know what's going on. So let's stop crying about it. Let's actually fucking do something about it. If you look at what's going on in every other community of even gamers, even people that play fucking PlayStation games, people are working together. I'm not seeing much of it in this freedom space because most people in the freedom space are still distracted. What this comes down to is very, very kind of extreme accountability. We have to be accountable. We have to be accountable for ourselves. And we have to stop being around people that aren't willing to take accountability. It's no government's fault. It's no corporation's fault. It's no fault. We're living an experience, and the experience that we live is completely down to the decisions we make with the awareness that we have. And then add in the seasoning of what life is. It's all those things that you can't really predict that will happen. People showing up at your door. Oh, that did happen. Prepay meters, they come in and they ambush me. That did happen. Someone said to me the other day, so, did you win with that? What does it look like? Look at me. Look at me in my fucking little psychedelic owl room. This is my office right now, and I'm grinding in here every day. And I feel healthy. I feel strong. I don't feel scared. I feel more empowered. Depends what you define as a win. And by the way, I'm not paying for gas. I'm not paying for electric. I'm not paying for things. That's really all I'm going to say on that. I am not paying for them. I don't know what people think a loss is. But to me, as I've mentioned in other videos, the loss is how you carry yourself as a human being. What are you doing? It doesn't matter what your job is. What the fuck are you doing? If you're someone that's going to passively act out illegally and unlawfully, and because you've got the backing of the courts and all that kind of bullshit, that's going to be very short-lived in the long run of things. And the videos are there for history. The videos are there for everyone to see. The videos are there for people that do have hearts and do have souls to go, wow, look at the comments. Just go through the comments of some of my videos. People are understanding what this is, and we feel that this isn't right. Life is about feeling. Life is about how we vibrate. And that type of vibration comes from losers. Straight up losers. Not winners. Losers. And another thing, and this is another thing that comes up with people of like, you know, they see the video, they see how effective it was on the first time when they tried it, right? How effective I was. And then they see the other follow-up video where they actually got in. I'm still standing here, baby. Stronger than ever. And what you've got to understand in this case is, if you're in any way under the delusion, because it is a delusion, that shit can't happen to you because, oh, I've put my thumbprint on a page and I know the Magna Carta. I don't want to be rude, but that's stupid. And stupid just means the inability to think clearly. Detachment is the most powerful skill set you can have for growth. Detach what you actually believe. Even if you want it to be true. It's not working. People are showing up. You've got to be prepared. If you're going into a fight, this is what it is war, it is a fight. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is World War III happening under our noses. And if you're going into this, and the moment you take a jab, and you panic and you go, oh, I've got to reassess, you were never prepared. You were never really ready to make the change. And that's the universe showing you that. Instead of fight, you flight. Fight doesn't have to be violence in this sense. Fight is, I think the Beastie Boys said it, you got to fight for your right to party. Take what you will with that, but I'm here to party and have a good time, but I'm also here to be a professional. I'm also here to be focused. I'm also here to really get shit done. That's not going to matter what happened here at this apartment, at this period of time of my life. When, and I say this with great humbleness and groundedness, when I'm on my yacht in a beautiful country, surrounded by amazing people, eating amazing food, feeling great and vibrant, and Earth and the people that matter in Earth know me as someone that stood up for what was true and stood up for what was right and enabled and inspired billions of people to do the same thing. That kind of shit that happened here fed me the energy to attain that level. You've got to see the bigger picture. You've got to understand foresight. Now, I guess what I want to say, and I don't know how long this has been recording for, but I guess what I want to say is some advice, since people do come to me for advice. the future looks very different. And for a very long time, I was adamant that I was moving towards this kind of like, call it off grid. You know, everyone that I speak to, really it comes down to freedom that they want. And they see it as off grid, you know, and we're raising our families, we're doing all this and all that kind of dream. People know what I'm talking about. That is the dream, for sure. But the reality is you can't do fuck all unless you have money. And that's a big, big kind of kick up the arse I've had, actually from Andrew Tate. And if you watch any of Andrew Tate's content, you take the message of what he's doing. That's who you need to be looking at. You don't need to be looking at people that are, you know, super educated in common law, or people that are doing certain areas. When that starts to rise to the surface and is actually moving, when people actually are ready to interact and engage with each other to work, cool. But you got to look at the people that are actually standing for the truth on different levels. You can think what you want about Andrew Tate. You can think what you want about characters that start to trend in the mainstream. But he has really mastered the financial side of things, and what he's done by setting up his digital, uncensored realms online, how he's enabled a community of people around him and a very small, tight network, most importantly, the network around him, that provide him all the solutions that he needs, and they can work together harmoniously. They're actually getting shit done. That's the level that we need to go to. And the reason most people in this freedom space can't do that is because they have no money. And they have to do whatever they're doing to get that money. That needs to change. We need to identify what skill sets we have. We need to identify what roles we play. We need to identify the makeup and the dynamics of what makes that work, which is accountability, trust, communication, and roles. Stepping into roles. I'm very clear on my role. And every single individual, man or woman that's listening to this, has a skill and has a role to play. And you'll be able to kind of engage with that at your own level. It could be an hour a day. It could be 20 minutes. It could start off with 10. But you've got to get going. You've got to get moving. You've got to understand how many distractions there truly are from us getting where we want to go. That off-grid, that doesn't exist unless we've got off-grid level bank accounts. When we're talking millions. For us to do it correctly, for us to do it properly with a lot of us, we need millions. Even if you're doing it in a small way and you want to live a quiet, peaceful life and you want to be grounded, that's cool. I love that. I'm also very much interested in connecting and networking with them people. But that's not me. I want to have an amazing life. I want to have resource and capacity to access everything I want. I want influence. I want to be able to showcase and express my true essence and ability to earth. And I can't do that if I've been doing what I'm doing. And I'll be honest with you, because that's the only thing I truly can do. What keeps me from doing that is giving away too much of my time and energy to people, for one. Being around people, this is what you got to look at. Are the people around you examples of where you want to be or who you want to be? And if they're not, you've really got to be merciless, polite. There's a skill to setting boundaries, and there's a skill to respecting your time. But you got to get in your lane and just drive and stay focused. And what I would say is the biggest difference that's happened to me lately is, one, realizing that. Two, I've cut out a lot of shit in my life. I was pretty healthy, but I would eat things like, for me personally, dairy, gluten. I would have at points excessive amounts of sugar. I would have these addictions that we kind of get roped into from childhood. And I needed a good enough reason to not do that anymore. So I got my energy back and I can actually focus and move forward. That's what this is about. I'm feeling it. I'm going through it right now. But literally, even everything around you, as you start to change, will also change with you. So me and Amy, like the dynamics of our relationships is always intense. We're always going through different dynamics. That's what it looks like. It isn't easy. It isn't necessarily like going to look like the cherry on top. You've got to understand the shadow. You've got to understand the darkness that comes with it. But you've also got to assess the question of, What's the consequences if I don't do this? What happens if I am just, I'm going to buy a little bit more time, because time is running out. Time is running out. And not everyone's going to make it, as sad as that is to say. It's true. But those of you that are going to make it are going to follow certain principles and characteristics. And what that looks like is you're disciplined. You have a set vision of where you're moving towards. You don't allow things that lower your vibration to be in your life. And you also, and let me give you some advice here, because I understand processes and learning processes very well. Everything comes in time, and everything comes with a transition. So when you're going through it, it's at times when you think, is this where I should be? Is this really what it looks like? Is it supposed to be this difficult? Ask yourself the question, what would it look like if you wasn't doing it? Because what you do that's right to your heart, I say this often, it should feel harder not to do something. It's harder for me to not listen to my gut. It's harder for me to not follow my heart. It's harder for me to mold and bend to what someone's influence, and someone that doesn't have a fucking clue what they're saying, for the record, what their influence over me is trying to do. You have to pay this. You have to do this. Understand the language. Understand the spells, and you'll see the game. We've got to get away from it all. I don't know how much longer I can ramble on this. I don't know how much longer I can touch on it. I just wanted to give people an update. But what I hope you see in my videos, if nothing else, is evolution. Even in my space, even with a microphone. I do a lot of things. And I've got a lot to offer to Earth, to the world. And I'm unable to do those things if I don't give myself the time and energy to focus on them. And it's a disservice to me, and it's a disservice to the people around me. So whether this was what you was hoping to hear, whether this was what you was expecting to hear, it's what a lot of people need to hear right now. And I have a lot of empathy. I have a lot of compassion for everyone's situations. I deal with it every day. I connect with people every day. Less now because I'm so focused. But if you message me, I will reach out to you. And if you showcase some ability of you're able to just do basics, you're able to follow a link in a bio, you're able to come out of your way to message me, I'll respond. And I'm willing to help and support. But it does come with a cost. If I said that I would do everything that I did for free, and anyone else should adopt this mindset, then you are insinuating that there's no value to offer. I have so much value to give. And it's not all about finances, but it is about exchange. There has to be an exchange. That's how the world works. How does it feel if you walk into someone's house and they're giving you loads of things and they're doing loads of things? You feel like, sometimes it's hard to receive because you feel like you want to give back. You feel like you might owe someone for this. That's a natural balance of the universe, to give and take, give and take. So you got to be very aware if you're just a taker. We call them people piss takers, because they take the piss and they don't do themselves any favors. A big part of what makes very strong relationships and connections is honesty. And if you can't be honest with yourself, you're definitely not going to be able to be honest with those around you. And difficult conversations are the fast track to growth. Every single time you're avoiding a difficult conversation, you're avoiding growth. You have to lean into it. You have to figure out the skills of what it looks like. You have to, if you want that vision, you want to live that dream, you want to grow, you want this change. You don't have to. Everyone's free to do what they want to do, because the most important thing we have as human beings is choice. So be careful of those who are trying to take it from you. But if you choose not to, then you have to understand that your reality is your fault. Your lack of finances is your fault. Your stress in life is your fault. And everyone's going through what they're going through. But with what I've experienced this year, and the true reality of what experiences I've been present to witness in my own life and in the people that I care about most, I'm going to give you this lesson from the fucking gods. Hear me. There is no such thing as time. There's no such thing as days. And there is no such thing as dreams. Everything is the same. When I was in the hospital, this is going to get deep and real now. When I was in the hospital and I see my baby daughter left to conclude that she wasn't alive, I was outside of my body, recognizing that this reality, and for some reason I'm in this reality, experiencing this for a reason, and it's for me to decide what that is. No amount of pain or no amount of trauma is enough to stop an individual that's connected to their spirit and is doing what they want to do. Nothing. Power is energy. Focus is energy directed. We've got to understand the fundamentals of who the fuck we are. And to do that, you need to get away from a lot of shit. You need to stop talking about Trump. And you need to get real and grounded. That will drastically become easier when your environment is molded to favor you. I've said this so many times. I cannot drink clean distilled water when I go up to the drinks machines in Nando's, because those options aren't there. I'm not in the environment for it. If I want to drink clean water, I have to buy a distiller. If you're in a situation where your environment literally won't enable you to get where you want to go, you have to change your environment. That's people, that's surroundings, that's space, that's like what your home looks like. Everything around you is a representation of your mind. You have to start to rewire that now. We have to get to work. There's no time to waste. I'm already kind of taking this interval in the middle of my work to express this. And this is part of my work. But really what this is the, I guess, documentation as much as possible of what this process looks like. What people think it looks like behind most people's doors, what they're doing in their lives, is an illusion. Everyone is given the same amount of time. Everyone is living their life in the way that they're living it. But no one's doing some kind of magic. The people that are winning are focused, disciplined, not distracted. The people that are losing are distracted, undisciplined, and talking shit about garbage. Garbage, literally. So if you're willing to change, if you're in a situation where this resonates, you can reach out to me in many capacities. But please do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and understand how digital currency and interaction and social media is truly the best tool that we have right now to move forward. And if you can't use it, if you message me on every video saying, how do I reach out to you? How do I reach out to you? And I've got in the video how you can reach out to me. I've got in my bio how you can reach out to me. You have to challenge and question yourself. What the fuck are you doing? If you're on your phone and you're just looking at it and you ain't conscious and aware of what you're taking in, it's consciousness that you need. It's awareness that you need. It's not someone else. You need to become more aware. And if you want to know what those practices look like for you to get that, you can go and study it. You can go and learn about it. But you've got to get going with it. I don't know how else to say it. So yeah, let me round this video up. Everyone that's watched so far, stay up to date, because I ain't slowing down. I'm only speeding up. I am building tremendous things here in the UK. I have amazing contacts and networks around the entire earth. I speak to people in New York, in Cuba, in Australia, in Florida. I speak to people in Wales. I speak to people in Belarus. I speak to people in China. I speak to people everywhere. And the reason I do that is because I've broken past a certain point. And this isn't actually difficult to do. You break past a certain point of imagery or filtering your reality through your mind of what you think it looks like. When you're just truly yourself and you learn to step into that, you'll attract these people from everywhere. Social media has enabled us to do that. There's no such thing as countries. You know, we're on land. We're on fucking land. That's it. Countries are a concept. And the land that we're on, whether it seems like someone's 24 hours away in Australia, they're really right here with us right now. I can have a call with my boys right now. There's power everywhere. It's likely not in your circle right now. It's likely not in your closest environment. It's likely not your family. It's likely not the people you work with. You've got to start to branch out with people that actually enable you to reset and be yourself. If you've been around the same people for 25 years, it's very difficult, trust me, it's very difficult to then all of a sudden change and have those people support you. Because you'll get, I don't like what you're doing right now. What is this? You're changing. You'll get the tests. You got to recognize them. Fuck the tests. Eat the tests for breakfast. Get through the tests. Stay true to yourself, and you will be rewarded. It will come with challenge, but you will be rewarded more than challenged. Trust me. And if you do trust me, then you've already started to develop a relationship with me. And if you want to continue to do that, go to the link below. What more can I say? Thank you to everyone that is also stepping in their power and doing the true work. And thank you to everyone that's really provided me inspiration and support to know that people actually can see what the fuck's going on. And people, particularly in a personal sense, can see what I'm doing. Because not everyone does. Not everyone has that kind of uncalcified pineal gland. So yeah. Love and blessings, love and lights, and love and all that stuff. But really, after you finish watching this video, get to fucking work. Goodbye.